Awaken your spirit, chosen one. You were never overlooked. You were hidden, sheltered like a seed beneath the soil, not because you were forgotten, but because you were destined to bloom in a season where the whole world could not deny your beauty. You've been walking through fire while wearing a smile, bleeding internally while still showing up in grace. And yet, they thought you were weak because you didn't clap back. They thought you were finished because you stayed silent. But silence is not surrender, it's strategy. And what they didn't see coming was your rise. They thought they won. They gathered in shadows, whispered in circles, plotted in secret. They smiled in your face while stabbing your back. But here's what they missed. God was in the room the entire time. Every lie, every betrayal, every rejection was witnessed by heaven. Nothing slipped through the cracks. And now the divine clock is striking. The same people who tried to bury you are about to watch you bloom in the very field they left. You win. Your enemy's downfall will not be quiet. It will be public. But this isn't about revenge. No, this is about justice. This is about God showing up not just for you, but through you. The pain they caused was the push that prepared you for purpose. And the reason your celebration will be public is because your pain was too. They talked about you out loud, so your rise will be announced from the rooftops. This is a spiritual law. What was done in darkness must be brought to light, not to embarrass, but to expose, to reveal what happens when someone tries to curse what God has already blessed. If this truth wasn't hidden in the beginning, they would have ruined you before you had a chance to become. If God had shown them your destiny too soon, they would have tried to destroy you while you were still fragile. The divine kept your greatness in the shadows, not as punishment but as protection, because the world wasn't ready for your light, and you weren't ready to carry the weight of it. But now you've been built in silence, forged like steel in the secret furnace of isolation. You've been taught endurance, grace, spiritual discernment, and now the stage is set. Don't be surprised when people start remembering your name. Don't flinch when tables turn with divine speed. This is not your doing, it's God's. And when God promotes, no one can demote. The ones who mocked your storm will have no choice but to witness your rainbow, not because you wanted to prove them wrong, but because God wants to prove himself right. The same mouths that spoke against you will be silenced by your success. The same eyes that rolled in disbelief will widen in awe, because when God lifts someone, he makes sure it's seen. You were never weak. You were wise. You kept your peace while they screamed lies. You kept building while they kept plotting. And now, what they meant for harm, God is using for celebration. The irony? They pushed you away, thinking they ended you. But all they did was push you into position. What looked like rejection was actually redirection, a holy setup for a divine reveal. And now I need you to get ready, not just for vindication, but for visibility. You're about to step into rooms where your name was once slandered. You're about to receive blessings with receipts. You're not just going to walk into abundance, you're going to walk in with your head held high, knowing that you didn't manipulate your way there. You grew into it. You were elevated because you endured. This is your confirmation. The tables are turning. The story is shifting. Your crown is coming out of hiding. If this message is your word in this season, like this video, subscribe and comment. I'm ready to celebrate what heaven is revealing, so we know who's walking in. Victory. Your journey is holy, your rise is ordained, and your celebration is already echoing in the spirit. Awaken your spirit, chosen one. You didn't stumble upon this moment. You were drawn to it. Something deeper within you has always known that your path would look different, that your life would carry weight most people couldn't understand. You've walked through fires that should have destroyed you, stood in storms that would have shattered weaker souls, and still you're here, breathing, healing, becoming. They looked at your quiet nature and mistook it for weakness. They saw your patience and thought it was passivity. But what they didn't see, what they couldn't see, was the divine fire burning inside you, the kind of fire that doesn't rage loudly, but refines silently. And now, the same people who overlooked you will have no choice but to look again, because this isn't the end of your story, it's the divine beginning. For too long, you were hidden like treasure buried deep beneath the earth, covered by dust, forgotten by many, but never abandoned by God. Your silence wasn't emptiness, it was preparation. Your isolation wasn't punishment, it was positioning. You've been in a divine cocoon, protected by the hand of the Most High, growing wings while the world thought you had fallen. And now, the soil that once concealed you is trembling, because it can no longer contain your roots. You're not just breaking out, you're breaking through. See, what they didn't understand was that your stillness was sacred. It was in the stillness that you heard God's whispers. It was in the quiet that your soul was fortified. While others were rushing, running, proving, performing, you were becoming. There's a power in stillness the world does not recognize, but heaven does. And heaven has been watching you, not just watching your pain, but watching your response to it. And that's what marked you. That's what separated you. Not the storms you endured, but how you refused to become bitter through them. How you chose peace over vengeance. How you chose growth over ego. How you chose God over noise. The silent season was never meant to shame you. It was designed to shape you. It was the forge, the spiritual fire. You were being refined, like gold. And gold never fears the fire. It knows the flames only burn away what doesn't belong. So yes, some people had to leave. Some doors had to close. Some opportunities had to fall through. Because God wasn't just giving you the blessing, He was making sure you had the strength to carry it. There are blessings so heavy, they would crush a version of you that still needed validation, still sought revenge, still doubted your worth, but not this version, not this healed, humbled, and holy version of you. You see, chosen one, heaven never sleeps on injustice. God doesn't miss a tear, not a whisper of slander, not a shadow of betrayal. Every dagger thrown behind your back was caught by angelic hands. Every lie told in rooms you weren't in is being reversed in rooms you haven't even entered yet. The people who used your name as a weapon will now watch it be honored. This isn't karma. This is divine order. This is spiritual justice. Because while the world watches from the surface, God sees beneath, and beneath the surface of your suffering was a warrior being awakened, a light being strengthened, a purpose being revealed. They saw what you lost, but heaven saw what you gained. They saw what was taken, but heaven saw what was being made. And now, the very trials that tried to drown you are becoming the platform that will lift you. The pit they dug will be the foundation for your palace. You don't need to fight to prove your truth. Your rise will speak volumes. Your glow will silence every lie. And your peace will be the loudest response of all. This is the season where vindication will no longer be private. It will be public, not because you asked for it, not because you need applause, but because God is a God of restoration, and when He restores, He makes sure it's seen. The same eyes that watched you suffer will now witness your shine, and not for your glory, but so they'll know it was God who did it. So they'll know that no human hand could have orchestrated such a turnaround. You were rejected, underestimated, mocked, maybe even abandoned, but that was their mistake. They saw you as common, but heaven knew you were royalty. Your enemies didn't just underestimate you, they underestimated your covering. They thought you were alone. They thought silence meant weakness. But you weren't alone. You were just surrounded by something they couldn't see. Covered in prayer, guarded by angels, backed by the Creator Himself. And when you're covered by divine hands, no human plan can prosper. Now you're stepping into elevation, into restoration, into visibility. The spiritual script has shifted, and God is calling you to own this moment, not with pride, but with presence, because what's coming next requires your full attention. No more shrinking, no more dimming your light for the comfort of others, no more apologizing for being chosen. You didn't choose this calling, it chose you, and you've been found faithful in the fire. Now you will be fruitful in the field. But don't be surprised, chosen one, when the same people who hurt you start acting like they've always supported you. Don't be shocked when those who once mocked your dreams try to attach themselves to your destiny. This isn't new. It's the same pattern throughout divine history. Joseph was betrayed by his brothers, only to later feed the same mouths that sold him. David was hunted by Saul, yet still honored the very one who tried to destroy him. And you, yes, you will be elevated to a place where grace will be your language, not bitterness. That's the real celebration. That's the real win. Not just that your enemies fall, but that you rise without becoming them, that you succeed without seeking revenge, that you shine without losing your softness, that you love despite it. All. That's divine maturity, that's heavenly royalty, and that's who you are. So walk forward boldly. Speak life over yourself. Hold your head high, not with arrogance, but with assurance. Assurance that what was done in secret is about to be rewarded in public. Assurance that your private tears were never in vain. Assurance that your name is being whispered in rooms of favor. Not because you chased clout, but because you chased God. And that's the difference. That's what sets you apart. That's why you're chosen. You didn't climb ladders built by men. You were lifted by unseen hands. You weren't promoted by popularity. You were positioned by prophecy. And no one can cancel what heaven has confirmed. So stay ready, stay grounded, stay grateful. Your enemy's downfall is not your obsession. It's just the side effect of divine alignment. Focus on the celebration, the doors opening, the tables turning, the crown descending. Because your story is shifting, and this time you won't have to explain yourself. They'll see it, they'll know it, and heaven will confirm it. This is your season. Step into it like you were born for it, because you were. There's something sacred about being underestimated, something holy about being counted out, only for God to count you in. You've been through moments where people thought you were finished, forgotten, faded. But what they didn't know was that you were only hidden. And now the moment is coming when the very ones who dismissed your presence will have to witness your promotion. The ones who turned their backs on you will have no choice but to face what God has done through you. And the most humbling part of it all, you won't even need to say a word, because your glow will say it all. You won't need to defend yourself. You won't need to clap back, explain, or justify. That part of your story is over. Your growth has outgrown their gossip. Your elevation has outpaced their envy. You're walking into a space where your life becomes the loudest response, where the blessing speaks louder than any bitterness, where your peace is your power and your joy is your justice. And as this new chapter opens, don't be surprised when those who once laughed at your vision now stare in awe of your reality. But hear this in your spirit. This is not about proving anyone wrong. It's about proving God right. It's not about revenge. It's about revelation. You are the revelation. You are the proof that what they meant for evil, God can use for glory. And the most powerful display of that glory is not your comeback. It's your character. Because there's a difference between elevation and transformation. One changes your position, the other changes your posture. And you, chosen one, have been transformed. You didn't become bitter. You became better. You didn't curse the darkness. You learned to carry light. You didn't fight fire with fire. You brought water, healing, and stillness. And that's why your rise will carry such weight. Not because of the applause, but because of the authenticity. Because when people see your elevation, they won't just see what you gained. They'll feel what you've become. The same people who thought they ended you will now witness your beginning. The same mouths that mocked you will now whisper your name in reverence. But don't be shaken. Don't be moved. This is your confirmation that God keeps receipts, that what was done in public will be redeemed in public. And yet, your soul must remain rooted, because elevation without grounding can become pride, and pride is a silent thief. But you've been humbled by fire, you've been taught by pain, you've learned to bow before you built. That's why your rise will not be reckless, it will be righteous. This is where you embrace the irony of divine justice, that those who tried to bury you are now the soil from which you grow, that the hands that pushed you down unknowingly pushed you into destiny, that the betrayal was a tool, the rejection was a map, and the wound was a doorway. It hurt, yes, but it humbled you, and now your celebration is coming, not in secrecy, but in sight. And hear me, you don't have to shrink to make others comfortable with your blessing. You don't have to hide your joy to protect the feelings of those who once harmed you. Walk in your light, not to boast, but to testify. Let your abundance speak of God's faithfulness. Let your peace reveal your process. Let your joy shout what your words never needed to explain. You're not here by chance. This moment, this rise, this visibility, it's all by divine design. You've been tested, tried, and trusted. Trusted with pain, trusted with patience, and now trusted with power. And the beauty of it all is that the same God who watched you cry in silence is now preparing your celebration in full view. But don't misunderstand. This is not about public downfall as a form of revenge. This isn't about cheering while others fall. No, this is about witnessing divine correction. Because when God moves, He doesn't just remove, He reveals. He shows hearts, motives, spirits. He humbles the proud and lifts the lowly. And those who tried to hurt you, their fall isn't for your entertainment, it's for their awakening, because even your enemies are still children of God, and while justice must come, mercy still speaks. That's the heart of a true chosen one, to not gloat in the fall of those who cursed you, but to pray they find the same healing you had to fight for. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you divine. Anyone can celebrate when they win, but only the healed can celebrate and still show grace. And this is where you begin to understand the weight of your story. It's not just for you. It's for the ones watching silently, the ones hurting quietly, the ones who are where you once were. You're not just being elevated, you're becoming evidence. Your life is about to speak hope to someone else's darkness. Your rise is about to remind another soul that they too can survive the storm. That even after betrayal, there is beauty. Even after rejection, there is resurrection. Even after pain, there is purpose. Don't underestimate how powerful your presence is becoming. Every room you enter shifts. Every word you speak carries weight. Because you didn't just survive, you surrendered. And in that surrender, you found your true self. Not the self shaped by pain. Not the self wounded by betrayal, but the self refined in love, anchored in spirit, rooted in truth. You found the version of you that hell couldn't break, that jealousy couldn't stop, that silence couldn't bury, and that's the you God is now exalting. This isn't hype. This is holy. This isn't a glow-up. This is a God-up, a rise that can't be explained by algorithms, networks, or popularity. A rise that screams of divine intervention. A rise that reveals the fingerprint of grace. So when they come back around, and they will, remember who you are. You're not the same person they left behind. You've evolved. You've expanded. You've awakened. Don't lower your frequency to make them comfortable. Don't dim your light to make them stay. If they couldn't honor you in the valley, they don't deserve access to your mountaintop. But even in that discernment, carry mercy, because God didn't bring you this far just to be bitter. He brought you here to be a mirror, a reflection of what happens when someone chooses healing over hatred, when someone lets go, lets God, and lets growth become their guide. Chosen one, you are stepping into divine timing, the kind that no enemy can delay, the kind that no human can deny. And as you rise, stay rooted in gratitude. Gratitude for the lessons, gratitude for the pruning, gratitude for the fire that revealed the gold. Because now you see clearly. Now you walk differently. Now you speak with authority not born from arrogance, but from authenticity. Everything is shifting in your favor. Every seed you planted in silence is sprouting. Every tear you cried in prayer is being answered. And every attack you faced in secret is becoming your public testimony. Not just that you made it, but how you made it. Not just that you rose, but that you refused to lose your soul in the process. This is where your name changes, where your voice is amplified, where your anointing becomes undeniable. And through it all, you'll carry the one thing the enemy could never touch, your integrity. You're chosen for this, prepared for this, protected for this. Walk boldly, not because you're perfect, but because you're positioned. The winds are shifting, the oil is flowing, and heaven has declared, now is the time. Your elevation isn't a surprise to God. It's a signal to the world, a signal that no weapon formed against you prospered, a signal that no lie was stronger than your truth, a signal that when God says rise, nothing and no one can keep you low. Let them watch, let them wonder, let them witness. Because what's happening in your life next, they won't be able to ignore it, and you won't need to announce it. God will. Chosen one, this is not the time to dim your light. This is not the moment to make yourself small for the comfort of those still stuck in confusion. You've earned every ounce of this glow. You've cried in silence, prayed in dark places, trusted through the chaos. And now your soul is expanding beyond old limitations. You've outgrown the version of yourself that needed permission to celebrate. And I'm here to remind you, it's time to dance, celebrate, not because everything is perfect, but because you've survived everything that tried to break you. Celebrate, not because you have it all figured out, but because you finally know who you are. The storms didn't stop you. The silence didn't crush you. The pain didn't define you. That means you made it. And that alone is holy. That is sacred. That is enough reason to rejoice. And yet many of you have been taught to feel guilty about your joy, trained to be quiet when you win, conditioned to apologize for your blessings. But chosen one, what you carry was never meant to be hidden. It was meant to shine. You were not called to be invisible. You were called to become a lighthouse, a guide for others lost at sea. Your celebration is not arrogance. It's affirmation. It's a spiritual yes to the path you've endured. It's heaven's applause through your smile. It's the echo of grace in every step you take forward. You see, there's something powerful that happens when you stop waiting for validation and start walking in revelation. When you realize you're not who they said you were, and you're not where you used to be. The glow that surrounds you now isn't just from what's around you, it's from what's within. It's divine fire. It's the residue of redemption. It's what happens when you keep showing up for your purpose, even after everything tried to convince you to quit. And here's the truth. Some people won't know how to handle your joy. Some will mislabel it. Some will distance themselves. But don't let their discomfort rob you of your divine right to dance, to laugh, to celebrate without guilt, because when you rise, you give others permission to rise too. When you heal out loud, you show someone else that it's possible. You don't owe the world your silence. You owe the world your truth. And if your truth is joy, then let it pour out like living water. Let it overflow. This is the moment where you take off the cloak of shame and wear your story with honor. Where you stop looking back to see who's clapping and keep walking because heaven already stood for you. Where you realize that favor is not always going to be fair, but it will always be faithful. God didn't bring you this far to hide you. He brought you this far to highlight you. And if others can't handle that, then they were never meant to walk this next part with you. But as you rise, stay grounded. Let your joy be rooted in humility. Let your celebration be clothed in compassion. You're not rising because you're better. You're rising because you believed, because you trusted God when it didn't make sense, because you stayed true to who you were, even when it hurt. You don't need to shout about it. You don't need to prove a thing. Just live in it. Let your peace speak. Let your joy testify. Let your blessing be the sermon. And never forget, this celebration isn't just yours. It's heaven's response. And to your obedience, it's the reward for walking blindly by faith. It's the harvest of every seed you sowed while no one was watching. It's the manifestation of what was always meant for you. But now, finally, it's visible. The table is being set, and it has your name written on it, in ink that can't be erased. But even in celebration, keep your soul anchored, because not every season is about winning in the eyes of others. Sometimes the most profound growth comes through quiet surrender, through deep moments where you have nothing but your faith to hold on to. And this is why humility must never leave you, because the ones who truly carry power are the ones who never forget who held them in the valley. That's where real wisdom lives, in remembrance. Let their fall be a lesson, not a moment for mockery, but a mirror for mercy. You were once broken too. You once made mistakes too. You once walked blindly through dark places too. So when you see others fall, even those who hurt you, let your response be rooted in grace. Let it be a sign that your character has caught up to your calling, that you've been refined not just by fire, but by forgiveness. This is the maturity of the chosen one, not just to rise, but to rise without resentment, to succeed without stepping on others, to win without needing to watch someone else lose. And this is why God can trust you with more, because your heart is aligned, because your posture is pure, because your hands are open, not clenched. You don't need to hoard blessings, because you know the source, and the source never runs dry. So stay humble, even when the spotlight finds you. Stay prayerful, even when the doors start opening. Stay grateful, even when the overflow comes, because the same God who raised you up can also keep you anchored. And you'll need that anchor, not because your blessing is unstable, but because elevation can attract imitation, and with imitation comes distraction. But chosen ones don't chase noise. They walk in truth. They remain focused. They protect their peace like it's holy ground, because it is. This is where discernment becomes your shield, where you no longer entertain every invitation, where you know the difference between those who love you and those who just love your light. Not everyone who claps is celebrating. Some are just waiting to see if you'll fall. But your fall isn't coming. Your fall has already been endured, and it's what birthed your becoming. You're not in a fragile season. You're in a forged one, built by divine hands, strengthened in sacred silence. And now, launched with divine intention, chosen one. Your name is known in places your feet haven't even touched yet. Your voice is carrying into ears you've never spoken to, because what's on you is not of this world. It's spiritual, it's ancient, it's divine, and it cannot be duplicated. That's why they tried to stop you. That's why you were fought so hard, not because you were weak, but because you were dangerous to darkness. And now you're walking in what you were once attacked for, wearing what you were once mocked for, living what you were once doubted for. It's not just a win, it's a witness. Your life is testifying. Every step forward you take is a sermon. Every boundary you honor is a breakthrough. Every no you say to what doesn't align is a yes to your anointing. That's how serious it is now. This isn't about trends. This is about timing, God's timing. And when heaven says, now, no one can say never. So stand tall, speak clearly, love deeply, shine boldly. You didn't come this far to play small. You didn't survive the storm to fear the sun. You're not here to beg for space. You are the space. The energy, the frequency, the shift. And those who are meant for your journey will rise with you, not compete, not copy, not compare. Because real ones recognize real assignment. Let this next season be marked by reverence, not perfection, but presence, not performance, but purpose. You're not just rising, you're revealing. And what's being revealed is something no enemy can touch, something no thief can steal, something no man can manufacture. It's you, fully, freely, finally chosen one. Your life is about to become the evidence of everything God whispered to you in the dark. And all you have to do is keep walking in the light. Chosen one, there are seasons in your life that will test your spirit in ways you never expected, but they are not meant to break you. They are meant to build you. The road you've walked, the challenges you've faced, the pain that has been your silent companion, all of it has served a purpose. There were times when you felt abandoned, misunderstood, and isolated. Yet in the very depths of that loneliness, you began to realize something powerful. You are not alone. Not anymore, not ever again. You were called to rise alone, not because you were meant to be isolated, but because you were destined to learn the depth of your own strength. You were meant to realize that your soul is stronger than any storm you could face. Your mind is sharper than any attack thrown your way. And your heart is more resilient than you've given it credit for. In the quiet moments, when the world was silent and the crowd had gone home, you learned who you really are. Not just in the highs, not just in the easy moments, but in the valleys. The spaces where no one saw you struggling, no one noticed you crying, and no one heard your desperate prayers. But in those times, that's where your identity was forged. In the quiet places, where all you had was the fire in your spirit and the courage to keep going, you became unbreakable. You've been chosen, not because you were the strongest in the room, but because you knew how to stand when you were the weakest. You knew how to believe even when there was no evidence. You knew how to trust when there was no security blanket of comfort around you. And now you're standing taller than ever. Not because you don't feel pain anymore, but because you've learned how to transform pain into power. You've learned that the power doesn't come from avoiding challenges. It comes from facing them head-on, with unwavering faith. You've learned that solitude isn't a punishment, but a training ground. It's the place where you hear the still small voice of God. It's the place where your spirit is refined like silver in a furnace, purified and prepared for the purpose ahead. It's where you gain clarity, where you learn to discern what truly matters and what doesn't. It's where you learn to listen to yourself, your true, authentic self, not the version others want you to be, but the version God made you to be. And this is the moment where you start to step into your full power, not a power that's based on ego, not a power that seeks validation, but a power that is deeply rooted in authenticity. You no longer have to prove yourself to anyone. You don't have to scream to be heard. Your very presence commands attention because it carries the weight of the divine. You are no longer chasing what you want. You are becoming what you were, always meant to be. And when you align with your truth, when you align with God's plan for your life, that's when everything begins to shift. Now, I need you to hear this clearly. It's okay to claim your space. It's okay to take your seat at the table. For too long, you've been shrinking yourself down to fit into spaces that didn't deserve you. For too long, you've dimmed your light so others wouldn't feel uncomfortable. But chosen one, That season is over. You were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to be overlooked or underestimated. You were meant to shine, and when you shine, you make space for others to shine with you. Your rise is not just for you, it's for all those around you. It's for everyone who needs to see that it's possible. It's for every soul who needs proof that healing is real, that miracles happen, and that divine timing is always perfect. When you rise, you create a ripple effect. It's like a stone dropped into still water. The waves spread far and wide, even to places you can't see. You may not know it yet, but your success, your transformation, your authenticity is opening doors for others, doors that once seemed locked, doors that once seemed impossible. And when you walk through those doors, you're not just stepping into a new chapter of your life. You're walking into a space that was created for you before you were born, a space where you're needed, a space where your light is the exact thing the world needs right now. But don't be fooled, chosen one. As you rise, the challenges will come. There will be people who try to tear you down, to discourage you, to bring up your past mistakes as if they define you. There will be situations that test your faith, test your patience, test your will. But you've already faced the hardest battles. You've already walked through fire. You've already proven that you can withstand. And each time you rise above, each time you refuse to shrink back, you get closer to the version of yourself that God always intended. The thing is, the more you step into your power, the more you will come face to face with your true purpose. Purpose is something that calls you forward. It's a divine pull that you can't ignore, no matter how loud the distractions get. And your purpose isn't just about success or fame or recognition. It's about the lives you're meant to touch, the souls you're meant to uplift, the hearts you're meant to heal. It's about leaving a legacy, a mark on this world that goes beyond material things. Your purpose is the very reason you were created. And what makes purpose so powerful is that it never fades. It doesn't come and go with the seasons. It stays with you, rooted deep in your heart. You felt it even when you didn't understand it. It's that calling deep within you that refuses to be ignored. It's the whisper that says, there's more to this life than what you see. And as you begin to live from that place, as you begin to fully embrace the magnitude of your calling, you start to realize something incredibly freeing. You are enough. You were always enough. You were never too much. You were never too loud. You were never too sensitive. You were never too different. The world tried to tell you that you didn't fit, but you were never supposed to fit. You were meant to stand out. You were meant to carve your own path, to create something new, to offer a perspective that only you could bring. You are exactly who the world needs in this moment. And this is why God has been so intentional with you. The struggles, the heartaches, the betrayals, they weren't just random. They were all part of the process, the refining process, the growing process. You're not the same person you were a year ago. You're not the same person you were 6 months ago. And you certainly aren't the same person you were when this journey first began. You've grown stronger, wiser, more compassionate, more resilient. And this is the version of you that is stepping into purpose. This is the version of you that will make the impact you were destined to make. Not because of your past, but because of how you've allowed your past to shape you. Not because of your mistakes, but because you've allowed them to mold you into someone who knows what it feels like to rise from the ashes. Someone who knows what it's like to trust when nothing makes sense. Someone who understands that divine timing is always at play, even when we don't understand it. And now, as you begin to step more fully into your destiny, I want you to remember one thing. You are the proof that transformation is real. Your life is the testimony, your journey is the sermon, your story is the declaration. And the beautiful thing about your story is that it's not finished yet. It's still being written. And with each new page, with each new chapter, You're stepping deeper into the person God always knew you were. So, chosen one, don't be afraid to take up space. Don't be afraid to stand tall. Don't be afraid to let your light shine brightly. You were born to do this. You were born for such a time as this, and as you walk forward, know this: your rise is only the beginning. The world has yet to see what you're truly capable of. The best is yet to come. Chosen one, I want you to hear this with the fullness of your soul. Everything that you have experienced, every tear you have shed, every moment you have questioned, every time you felt as though you were walking through fire was not a mistake. It was part of a divine design. Every hardship you have faced, every battle you fought in silence has been an essential step in the unfolding of your extraordinary purpose. And today, right now, is the moment you step into the full reality of your divine calling. For too long, you have walked as though you were less than what you are, as though you were meant to play small in a world that needed your light. But now, in this very moment, I want you to stand tall, not because the world says you should, but because your spirit knows you are ready. You've fought through darkness, endured the storms, and now it is time for you to rise. Not with fear, but with the quiet confidence of someone who has seen the other side of struggle and emerged victorious. You are not defined by the opinions of others, nor by the wounds of your past. You are defined by the divine spark within you, the purpose that has always been written into the very fabric of your being. You are not an accident, chosen one. You are a divine masterpiece, a child of the Most High, destined to do things that have never been seen before. You have been shaped and molded in ways you can't yet fully comprehend, but that is part of the beauty of this journey. Your purpose is unfolding in perfect timing, even when you couldn't see it. Remember that divine timing is never rushed. It doesn't bow to the world's clock. It follows a rhythm that is perfect for you. And the waiting that you've endured, the seasons of silence, of struggle, of feeling as though you were invisible to the world, those seasons were not wasted. They were preparing you, chiseling away at the things in your heart and mind that needed to be refined. You've been in the forge, chosen one, and the fire was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to strengthen you. And now you are stepping into the fullness of your purpose with a strength you never knew you had. So don't doubt the path you are on, even when it seems unclear. Don't be swayed by the distractions that come to try and take you off course. The universe is aligning in ways that you cannot yet see, but it is aligning for you. Trust that what is meant for you will never miss you. The doors that are meant to open for you are already unlocked. And as you step forward with faith, they will swing wide, revealing your destiny. But understand, chosen one, that stepping into your purpose will require courage. It will require the kind of faith that doesn't just trust when the path is clear, but trusts even when the road is foggy. It will require you to walk with the knowledge that the universe, God, has equipped you with everything you need to move forward. And it will require you to believe in the power of your own story, the power of your own voice. The world has yet to hear the song that only you can sing, and it is time for that song to be heard. There will be people who doubt you. There will be those who tell you that you can't, that it's impossible, that you don't have what it takes. But I want you to understand this deeply. Their doubt is not your burden to carry. The only opinion that matters is the one that echoes in your soul, the one that is aligned with your higher self, the one that whispers in the deepest places of your being that you are enough. You always have been, and you always will be. Your divine inheritance cannot be taken from you. It cannot be erased by words or by circumstances. What God has placed in you, no one can take away. But chosen one, you must choose to step into it. You must choose to take the path that requires you to face your fears head on. You must choose to rise even when the world wants to keep you down. You must choose to be unapologetically you. The world needs your authenticity, your voice, your light, and the only way you can bring that to the world is by being true to who you are, unapologetically. Don't hide the parts of you that make others uncomfortable. Don't shrink away from your brilliance. You were made to shine. You were made to stand out. This journey isn't easy, and there will be times when you will be tempted to quit. There will be days when the weight of the world feels unbearable, when the voices of doubt try to drown out your inner knowing. But I want you to remember one thing. The most powerful thing you can do in those moments is to keep going. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Trust that each step, no matter how small, is bringing you closer to the manifestation of your dreams. Trust that every moment of struggle is building the foundation for your breakthrough. You were never meant to live a life of mediocrity. You were never meant to play it safe. You were meant to blaze trails, to lead others by example, to break down barriers, and to show the world what it looks like when someone walks fully in their purpose. And as you rise, others will rise with you. Your life is a testimony to the power of divine timing, to the power of transformation, and to the beauty of trusting in God's plan. So stand firm, chosen one. Stand tall in the truth of who you are, knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. Your past does not define you. Your mistakes do not define you. What defines you is your ability to rise every time life knocks you down. What defines you is your heart, your courage, your spirit that refuses to be broken. You are a force of nature. You are a warrior in a world that tries to silence warriors. And now you are stepping into your divine destiny. I want you to say this out loud right now. I am ready to step into my purpose. I am ready to receive everything that is meant for me. I trust in divine timing, and I trust that God has been preparing me for this moment all along. Say it with conviction. Say it with faith, because the truth is, the universe has been waiting for you to claim what is already yours. The world is about to see the real you, the authentic you, the powerful you, and nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop what is meant for you. Remember, chosen one, you were not brought here to blend in. You were brought here to stand out. You were not brought here to follow. You were brought here to lead. You were not brought here to be ordinary. You were brought here to be extraordinary. And as you step into this next chapter of your life, know that you are not alone. The divine is with you every step of the way. You are supported, you are loved, and you are ready. The time is now, the stage is set, and this is only the beginning. So step into your greatness, chosen one, and let the world witness the power of your purpose. Your time has come, and you will rise in ways that will inspire generations to come. The best is yet to come.